What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mumbling Thoughts. And your boy's been going through it. Your boy's just. It's been like a roller coaster of emotions these past few weeks because guess what? Your boy finally opened up and was open to talking to people. Like, wow, oh my god. Well, specifically girls. Whoa. But anyways, I started talking. Well, I'll give you a TLDR because it's a pretty long story. And when I texted one of my boys, like just a part of what happened, I was like TLDR, but I wrote this whole ass big ass paragraph. So I'll try to keep it short and then I'll give you the whole story. So to sum it up, I started talking to this girl and we said we were gonna just be friends, and I was like, I'm down to just be friends. I wasn't looking for a relationship or anything in particular. So we started off as friends, but when we started texting and talking, shit got like flirty as fuck, like real fast. Like we would send each other relationship memes on Instagram, X, Y, and Z, and we would literally text every single day until like 3 a.m. Like that first week, and it just felt like there was something more than friends. Like it's like when you're not dating, but you're not really just friends either, and you're more like you feel like there's something more than that. And at first, like I was trying to calm myself down, but after we hung out and everything, like your boy got attached, man. Like your boy folded hard. Um, it was like the hugs. The hugs got me. The hug in the beginning when I first saw her, and then when I dropped her off and she like hugs you. Like, when girls hug you, but like a little tighter, it's like, fuck. Like, oh. And then like I brought her to the cat cafe too. And since she loves cats, and every time, not every time, but she would be like, "Oh, that's so she like that cat's so cute," and she would like cling onto my arm, like, "Bro, you can't be doing that, man! Like, I'm literally gonna fold and fucking fall." But anyways, after that, like, I started falling. Like, your boy fell hard, and the thing is, I started overthinking because of that attachment that I started to have, and it wasn't it. That's why I was going through like these roller coaster of emotions because I was attached and I was overthinking, which was not fun. So basically, that's okay. I thought it was she texted, but anyways, maybe I'll put my phone on do not disturb just so I don't get distracted. Anyways, um, yeah, that's why it was like a roller coaster of emotions these past few weeks, and I just want to give you guys an update and where I am now. So we'll talk about like managing attachment, not overthinking, and like setting boundaries, which I've talked about before, but I feel like now I have a clear idea now that I'm trying to talk to more people and learning to manage my emotions, my feelings, and actually set boundaries. So that's the long story short. It wasn't really that short, but good enough. So now the full story. So yeah, I started talking to somebody and we said we were gonna be friends, but things got flirty real fast. And after we hang out, like I fell and I got it like slightly, just a little bit attached. Might be an overstatement, but that's okay. Um, I like fell pretty fucking hard. That's why I'm fucking making a video about this. Like that's why. But anyways, it's like a really common trap for a lot of us to get attached early on, and it's important to understand why we get attached. And before I made a video about getting attached because you're confusing attention for affection. And at first, when I started talking to her, I was like, Wes, you gotta calm down. Don't get attached too fast. You don't wanna confuse the attention that she's giving you for affection and think there's actually something more. You know, obviously it didn't work very well because here I am. Now, I'm a little better now. I'm better now. But before, I was like just attached and I was overthinking things. But the thing is, my boys, they said that they don't think what was going on, what we were doing, what she was doing, how we were talking was just attention, you know? Like the extra Y's or the extra letters, the way she's talking, or that tight hug, like, or like clinging to me, or like all of that. Just, it's hard to say that it was either like just attention or affection in like the beginning and like early on, you know. It's just hard because we don't know who she is as a person, if she's just like that, which is just fuck. Like once you get attached, that's when you like start overthinking things, and we'll get into that shortly. But another reason you could get attached really quickly is because you you like them for how they make you feel instead of liking them for who they really are. And honestly, I'm not trying to say that liking them for how they make you feel is a bad thing, you know, because you're not going to date someone who makes you feel like shit, you know. You're not going to date someone who ignores you, who maybe you will, you know, because of your anxious attachment style. But you're not going to date someone generally if they say you're like ugly or they make you feel like shit and all these other things, you know? Um, but since you care, you know, or since you like the way they make you feel, you develop feelings for them, and that's not a bad thing because you can always learn about them later on. Like, my thing is, how they make you feel comes first, mostly. Like, generally, how they make you feel comes first, and then you get to know the person. And I feel like that's what happens in most relationships. Like, you like them for how they make you feel, you guys start dating, and then you guys slowly start to learn more about each other. And I feel like that's what the honeymoon phase is where you guys are still in that you like each other for how you guys make each other feel. And then once you guys start learning more about each other, and getting to know each other, like your values, your beliefs, personality, X, Y, and Z, that's when the true test begins. You know, that's when you really see if you can love the other person for who they really are. And for me, I, when I started talking to my boys about the situation I'm in, the situationship, or whatever you want to call it, you know, I came to the conclusion that yes, I did like her for how she made me feel because we talked till like 3 a.m. She's like the hugs, the clinginess, or whatever, just clinging on to me. Like, that shit just makes you fold, like I said. It's like, fuck. You know, how do you not? You just can't, like, not like someone from that, you know? Maybe I'm just a little, I don't know, but after I got attached or started becoming emotionally invested, that's when I started overthinking things. And if you can't see, like, my face is a little shiny right now because like I did my skincare and everything, but I like broke out hella like on my chin and then like a little on the side here. And I literally feel like it was from the overthinking and the stressing and all that fucking bullshit because stress makes you break out and shit, you know? So I think that's probably why like I have a few fucking pimples here and there. But anyways, the reason why I started overthinking things was because I saw something that she posted on her story, which didn't really rub me the right way. But at first I was like, and whatever. Didn't want to overthink it because you don't know, you know. But then she posted another thing that was a little more questionable, and I was like, I don't know, man, you know. And later that night, I literally like started overthinking so much, and I was questioning my feel. I started questioning my feelings, and asking myself like if I really liked her or why I was even so attached, you know, because we said we were just gonna be friends, but obviously it felt like there was something more. But after like seeing what she posted, it's like I started overthinking because of the emotions that I had and the feelings that I had. Everything you just give more weight to everything they do because of your feelings, you know. If you didn't care, you literally wouldn't give a shit. But because you already developed these feelings and this attachment, you start thinking into every little thing that they do. And it's like everything they say, everything they do, you think there's like a hidden message or a hidden thing that you need to like decode, when in reality you're just giving those small things and you're like blowing it up out of proportion and thinking too much into it, you know. And for me it was hard because I was already attached to her, and I couldn't help myself but overthink. And when you overthink, you really just let your emotions start driving the narrative and taking control of your thoughts. Because of all these feelings that you have, you stop thinking. And that's what love is, you know? Love is this emotion that I feel doesn't make you the most rational person at times, because love just, it's an emotion that overtakes your thought process or your rational thought process, and you just don't think rationally anymore, which is why I think it's so important that you have someone to talk to, that you're able to like they're able to like act as a soundboard, or you can just write down your thoughts, because you need to like take a step back and be like, wait, you know, either by yourself or have someone else make you realize that. And that's what I did this past week and these past couple days, because I I really like I feel like I really like this girl, and I just didn't know what was going on, and I felt like I was overthinking, but I wasn't sure, which is why I wanted to get an outside perspective, you know. Normally sometimes it's not necessarily the best idea to get an outside perspective, because they don't know everything that's going on. They don't know the other person, you know, and I don't even know her as well. So it's hard. And they can like put ideas in your head that you might not necessarily think about or even come into your mind, um, unless like they said it. And so, but thankfully, like I'm lucky to have like friends that know like what's good for me and how to help me. So like one of my boys, he just acted as a soundboard, and he made me realize that I was really overthinking a lot of things and I shouldn't have, which is why it's super helpful. And we came to the conclusion that one, I got attached, like I said, because of the way she made me feel. Um, but I don't know who she is yet, which is why I can't say definitely like I want to date her, at least at that point. Um, but I believe like I said, in most cases, you do develop feelings quicker because of how they make you feel, and you do get to know the person later on. And second, I just decided like I need to stop overthinking, because it's I can't do anything about like what she's doing, what she says, or who she is. You know, what I can control are my emotions and what I do, you know. And so I'm literally gonna just take everything that she shows or tells me or anything that she does at face value. And I'm not gonna read in between the lines. I'm not gonna overthink like what she posts, what she does, or like her not texting back because it's like it is what it is. You can't do anything about that. And so definitely got to stop overthinking. So now I'm just going to treat her as a normal friend, and set boundaries and see how things go. And I said like I better now, but before, honestly, I feel like I kind of got better, but it was just mainly stuffing my feelings down and trying not to think about it. But after actually thinking through it, and talking it out, it actually helped me realize what was going on and what I can do in order to start detaching myself and just treating her as like a regular friend and not overthinking things. Because the thing is, before I started overthinking, I was like constantly telling myself, Wes, like, you gotta calm the fuck down. Like, stop. Like, don't get attached too quick. And you don't want to confuse the attention for the affection and don't rush your feelings. But it's hard to detach once you already kind of somewhat emotionally attach yourself. And you would think that now that I've gone through like two breakups and I've done healing, that I would know not to get attached. But before I thought that just knowing or just telling yourself like don't get attached or like knowing why you get attached um, is enough. But honestly, I feel like there's the other step, which is setting the boundary. And I feel like we don't really have chances to like practice that. So I used to think that just keeping in mind that you get attached or why we get attached is enough, but you actually need to set the boundaries in order for yourself to not get attached easily or to detach, because without setting your boundaries, you'll be lost in like what someone else is doing, because you're constantly checking for their message or you're going out of your way to text them or hang out with them instead of focusing on yourself or what you need to be doing, because you had a like life before them, and now that they're came into your life, you're kind of giving your all to them or getting them or chasing them instead of focusing on what you've been doing. And I get it. It's like you, at first, you want to show them you care and you like this high that you feel, you want to chase it. But you need to set proper boundaries for yourself in order for you not to get attached and for you to have space in between, like with them and your own life. So, like a few boundaries that you could set are like emotionally or mental boundaries. And so, basically, for emotions, you don't want to put too much weight on what she does and be reactive to it. So, like, let's say she posts something on her story or she doesn't respond to you, like, very quickly, you don't want to react and be like, oh, that means she has other guys, other dudes, or she doesn't give a fuck about me, or she's like playing games or X, Y, and Z. You need to just acknowledge that she has her own life and she's doing her own things. You can't really control what she's doing, especially because you guys aren't even dating or you guys aren't exclusive yet. And um okay, like I'm completely lost now. And like for me, this really helped because I told myself I'm gonna stop checking for her messages or checking when she responded, because it would literally take up my whole day and it would always be on my mind. I'll be like, did she respond? Did she respond? Like, let me check my phone to see if she responded or not. And it just was draining because when she responded and we were texting, it was a high. Like, you felt great. but when she stopped responding as quickly, you don't feel as good. So it's like just this emotional roller coaster that you put yourself in because you're not setting that boundary. And two, for mental boundaries, like you want to prevent yourself from making up imaginary scenarios um, with that person, because since you don't have them already, you start making up scenarios of what it would like to be together. And that's why I feel like that's why I feel like people say that, what is it? I can't think of it right now. Like, okay, so, you'll get over a breakup from a relationship, but you'll never get over a situationship that just ended and you guys couldn't date, because for the relationship you had them, you were dating them and you had what could be. But in a situationship, or just like you're talking to someone, you create like these imaginary scenarios in your heads, and you wonder what could have been. But like what could have been, you don't know what could have been, you literally don't. And so these imaginary scenarios, you're like, oh shit, like what if we could have been dating and then we could have done X, Y, and Z. For me, I don't do that as much anymore, because I started taking things as face value, and I just stopped thinking about like what we could have been, because thinking about what we could have been, just it doesn't help your situation, because it'll just get you more attached. um Instead, I just focused on my own thoughts and made sure that they were realistic, like taking her what she tells me or what she shows me as what it is. And it helps because you stop creating those imaginary scenarios. And another boundary you could set is like not hanging out as much or not texting as much, so that you can focus on your own things and you don't get attached. Because sometimes when you hang out too much or you talk too much, that attachment like sparks again. So you just want to make sure you set that boundary as well, so you guys don't see each other as often, and you can focus on yourself and not spark like those feelings of attachment again. And so, just to recap, um, I feel like now I have a better understanding of how to prevent yourself from being attached. So, one, the key is to reflect and learn what makes you attached. And you want to take things slow and not overthink. And then finally, you want to set boundaries. So, first, reflect on why you're getting attached. Um, do you like this person for who they are or how they make you feel? Two, you want to take it slow and don't put them on a pedestal, because seeing them as like this majestic person just makes you get attached, because you're like, oh fuck, like we're talking and she's like this amazing person, and you're overthinking and you're making up imaginary scenarios in your head, and you don't want to do that. And finally, you want to set clear boundaries to protect your own feelings and your own emotions. And so if you find yourself stuck in overthinking or feeling like you're way too attached, you want to reflect on your patterns, question why, like what's making you feel attached in the first place, take it slow, and set proper boundaries, and don't overthink things too much, because overthinking, you're giving their actions way too much weight and you're being reactive to what they do. And that makes you spiral into like this roller coaster of emotions that is not necessarily the best for you. And so it's definitely not easy, because like I said, I thought I was like, okay, after these two relationships, like I'm good. I'm not gonna get attached anymore, and I know how to set boundaries, or I'm not gonna overthink. But then the thing is, like, once it actually happens, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if you're gonna get attached again. You don't know if you're gonna overthink, or you don't know if you're gonna set proper boundaries. And it's hard because like it takes time, it takes practice, and I feel like this is like a lesson that life is trying to give me, to like actually see if I I've learned from like my past mistakes. And I'm not gonna like find the perfect solution, or yeah, I feel like that's the best way to put it. I'm not gonna find the best solution or the perfect solution, but I'm gonna try my best to get through it and learn from it, or maybe this can turn into something. I don't know, but I'm not gonna be hopeful. I'm not gonna get too attached or let this hold me down, because in the end, it's all part of life, and it is what it is. Um, so yeah, like, okay, finally, like, I don't even know. I feel like this is the problem with me, because I feel like not being, this is why I need to like be consistent, because I feel like every time I stop like posting, I just forget how to talk. So remember, like, healing isn't like just your destination. You don't like move on from a couple of relationships and you're like, okay, I'm fully healed now. Healing is like a process that you go through. And I know you keep hearing it's a process, it's not the destination, X, Y, and Z, but I thought it was just a destination. And after those two relationships, I was like, oh, I'm fucking like done. I'm like done. I've learned everything I needed to learn. But there's always things you can improve on. And for me, now it's setting boundaries. And before it was like getting over the relationships, but now I feel like what I need to learn, or what I need to improve on, is actually setting the boundaries and not getting attached in the first place, and just being able to treat them as, or just, yeah, treat them as friends. Because one thing my sister said was like, normally people flirt with girls to like, or just flirt in general to get the other person interested. But I'm flirting. I flirt and I get myself attached instead, which just fucks me over. So clearly, I put myself in this situation, and like I'm like a clown for it. But hey, it is what it is. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Maybe I just stop flirting, but I don't know. It's hard because it's like, fuck. But anyways, like I said, like, it's a process. So you don't just heal overnight. You don't move on from a couple of relationships and like you're completely fine for the rest of your life. You just keep learning about yourself, what you can do to make your life easier, not get attached, make your relationships better. And that's all I really have to say for today. Hopefully this situation that I have going on ends well. If it ends horribly, whatever. But we'll see how things go. And I'm actually gonna really try to be consistent and post every week. Because if I don't, I feel like I just lose it. I can't talk anymore. And being consistent will just help me improve me talking about what I'm thinking, about my mumbling thoughts, and make it a better experience for you guys, because I feel like I just completely suck right now. So anyways, that's all for this week's mumbling thought. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for listening. Hit that like, subscribe button, and notification bell. But also, if you have a mumbling thought, drop that down in the comment section below, and maybe I'll talk about it in a recent, like a next episode, or in the future. So thank you all for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.